Hello, Malaysia, and hello, world. My name is Mr. Aston Lakan Musa, and I'll be the host of this talk show. And welcome to Young and Proud Malaysian Talk Show. The youth of Malaysia have a critical role to play in the country's effort to achieve the status of a fully developed country by the year 2022. Some of you might have heard of it, but for the benefit of doubt, let's go for the first segment of our talk show. Let's have a round of applause to the representative of the Youth of Malaysian Organization, Miss Pui Shiying, Miss Mas Yunis Anak Maya, and Miss Kathleen Shanti Anak Peter. Welcome to Young and Proud Malaysian Talk Show. Miss Pui Shiying, Miss Mas Yunis Anamael, and Miss Kathleen Shanti Anak Peter. Thank you for being with us today. It is a pleasure to meet all of you.
The pleasure is our Mr. Aston Lakamusa. Thank you for having us here.
Now tell me, how can Malaysian youth contribute to preservation and furthering of the cultural heritage of individual ethnics in Malaysia?
Hi everyone, hello and good morning everyone. I'm so glad to be one of the guests here. In my opinions, for the question that has been given, using media platform to influence the community about the traditions and individual ethnic, such as promote our culture through television broadcasts and social media. There are many ways. Actually, young people are the ones who can contribute a lot. Now, what you have to do is learn about it as much as you can. Of course, you cannot learn about it fully anytime, but at least as much as you can. Then share what you have learned. You can share it with your friend or post it on your social media accounts such as Telegram, Facebook, TikTok, and so on, so that a lot of people come to know about it. I know that after some time, your friends will get bored, but then you can tell them amazing facts. Only like I personally think our facts about our cultures and traditions are very amazing.
That sounds interesting. Social media gives you an opportunity to talk about what you know and what you want to be known. Next, I would like to hear your second opinion, Miss Pui Xing.
Okay, my next opinion is, as we know, cultural heritage is something that human beings share. Wherever we come from, there is a culture that follows us from that place. No matter where you grow up, where you go, your culture will always be something you can take with you. It is very important that we protect our cultural heritage so our future generations can continue to look upon the past as we do. I believe it is very important that we teach our high school students that the value in protecting their cultural heritage, the importance behind the type of cultural heritage in a student life should be relevant in their education, so the government can make the cultural heritage as one of the subjects in education today.
That's a great point. Thank you, Miss Pui Xing.
You're welcome, and thank you for your questions, Mr. S. Lakamusa.
So next, we have our second guest here, Miss Mas Yunis Anak Maya. What about your opinion?
That is some interesting question you got there, Mr. Ashton Lakai Musa. As we know, Malaysia is full of various races and religion that is famous for its culture heritage passed down from generation to generation. The diversity of this heritage range from the architectural elegance of buildings and monuments to arts and crafts, performing arts and events. This is our generation's responsibility to cherish our arts and culture heritage that we have right now. My next opinion is we must provide incentive to art and culture heritage activities. Both art and culture are two wonderful ways of preserving or sustaining a strong community sense of place, forging a personal identity, and showing your creativity. Art and culture boosts multiple opportunities for learning, entertainment, leisure, personal growth, and improving communicating with others.
Thank you, Miss Masyuni Sanamael, for your great opinion. And next, we have Miss Kathleen Shantiana Peter.
Okay, thank you to Mr. Ashton Lakamosa for inviting me to this great talk show. In my opinion, this important of Malaysian youth in our country is to make the big impact to preserve the traditional of individual ethnic. Both art, culture are two wonderful ways to prevent or strengthening a strong community sense of place, forging a personality identity, and showing your creativity. Art and culture both multiply opportunity to learning, entertainment, leisure, personal growth, and improvement communication with others. Handcraft associations should organize remember events for example, just not constant to of showcase but also some interesting activities such as demonstrations of making craft, and the government can make some interesting program overseas. For example, the Malaysian Kitchen Program, initiative by the Ladies Associations of the Malaysian High Communication and New Delhi to promote the country food to the experts and diplomat community.
That sounds interesting, Miss Kathleen and Shantiana Peter. So, what's your last opinion?
Okay, thank you again, Mr. Ashton Lakamusa. For my last opinion is our Malaysian youth can also join international culture competitions. It can make our Malaysian art and culture to be known all over the world. This is to promote international cooperation in identification, study, and the solutions of issues related to the ethnic identifications, protection, interpretations, and management of the integrable culture, association attributed to monument and site. The most important is Malaysian festival should be organized nicely for every year. Also, you think.
Thank you very much, Miss Kathleen Shantiana Peter. Next, we move to our second segment. Hello, we are back for our second segment. We are still talking about the same topic, but we will be more focused on Malaysians' development. First of all, let's give a round of applause to representative of the Youth of Malaysian Organization for this segment. Let me introduce you, Miss Susie, Mr. Aris, Mr. Alex, and Miss Akila. Welcome and thank you so much for taking part in second segment. It is a pleasure to be with all of you. So have all of you prepare yourself to give your opinion based on question that I will ask?
Thank you so much for inviting us, and yes, I'm ready.
Since I am a proud Malaysian, I am ready.
Yes, I am.
Most of the youngsters in Malaysia can't think of the responsibilities in the development sector in Malaysia. So in your opinion, how Malaysian youth can identify their own capabilities in development?
Okay, Mr. Ashton, that is a great question. Before I straightforward to my point about identify the capability in development, I am going to talk a bit about how to identify our capabilities. Firstly, to identify your skill, you must think about what we do in our current job. Second, we must reflect on our past education, or if we're working, we can reflect on our work experiences to do some improvement on any task or any job that we can do in the future. Nowadays, most of the youth giving up so easily because they think they didn't give any achievement in anything that they do. So, to figure out your own capabilities, it is important for you yourself to think about the skill that you have gained in daily life, even though it is just a simple skill. We must realize that is a small step is also a progress.
Wow, Miss Suzy, I am totally agree with your last words. Allow me to add on a bit. The small step that you have to mention that can be listed out as a strength that we need or that we want to improve. By listing out our strength that we want to improve, we will able to see our strength that we want to prove. We will able to see the clear vision of something that we really want to achieve.
Yes, it is, Mr. Harris. Back to our question. After we did all of the steps given, we must decide on what skills that we want to improve. We must have a thought, such as, is it worth it for the skills to be improved? Will it give a lot of impact to the development? But make sure that you're not only focused on one skill.
Thank you so much to Miss Susie and Mr. Harris for the idea. It makes me want to try all of the steps to figure out my own capabilities for a development. I bet Miss Susie and Mr. Harris feel relief after answering that question. So, my next question is how Malaysian youth can contribute in development.
Allow me to answer that question. Actually, there is a lot ways for you to contribute in development of Malaysia, but it depends on what kind of development they want to achieve. For example, economic development or society development. Since we don't have so much time, so I will focus more on economic development. As for economic development, you can make change by creating economies. What I mean by creating economies are creating designing, producing, marketing, selling, and reinvesting in things they care about in their own way. This can help to change the world in powerful ways.
What do you mean by in powerful ways?
By fostering dynamic, disruptive new ways.
So, what are the other ways to develop through economics? It is getting interesting. I guess everyone out there are eager to hear about it too.
Well, if you choose to be educator as their career, little did they know can also play a role in economic development. For example, you are a teacher. You can teach their peers, younger people, and adult mindset to focus on economics. This can include community workshop for young and adults, building lessons in how we think into early childhood development programs, teaching educators to teach about their learning style and mindset and more. Instead, young also can be a motivator by promote practical hopefulness to support young action by actively building young or adult partnership, serving as a mentor in an apprenticeship as professional staff, and many other actions can all give young people stories to tell and lessons to share that can change the world.
Wow, such a great opinion from Mr. Alex. It seems like Miss Akila been waiting for me to ask her question. Seems like you got a lot to share, Miss Akila.
Yes, of course, there's a lot of things that I want to share and I really want to voice out my opinion based on your question.
Now that's the spirit that we want. So, Miss Akila, will it be a waste of time if Malaysian youth contributes to development of the country?
Of course not, Mr. Ashton. Youth means young, so we as a Malaysian youth still got long way to go. We have a lot of idea on how to make changes. Little did they know, even in their daily life, they are also make little contribution through their skills. Youth are the rays of hope. They or we are young upholstery. As for youth, it is not something that will waste your time because if you learn something new, you're the one that will be receive the benefits and you're the one that going to use that skill to do anything that you want. For example, just like Mr. Alex said, they can use that skills on economic development. Don't make something easy seems hard, youngster. You want it, you go for it. Be more active.
Right, Miss Akila. As a youth, we should be more active and we should apply the skills we have learned. This will be my last question for segment 2. Do you think Malaysian youth nowadays are mature enough to think about the development of the country?
Well, it depends on what we have been exposed to because it influences the way they think. Just like what Mr. Alex has mentioned before, when there is someone exposed and teach them to think about the future and the benefit to have such important skills to make changes, of course, their mindset will go to that path. But if they have been taught to think the other way around, and of course their mindset will go the other way around. But adults also playing a role for their mindset. Most of the adults will support youth in anything they do, but there is also an adult will criticize their skills such as you're not mature enough to do this or you're still not young enough to involve in the conversation.
I see. I quite agree with that because mindset really influence our actions. So that is all for segment 2. Thank you so much for all of your opinion. Give a round of applause for the guests for their great idea. A very great thanks to segment 2 for the wonderful talk given by them. Next, we are going to see a talk on the title Youth is the Pillar of Malaysian Government. Here we have our 4 candidates that are Miss Sherlyn, Miss Aina, Mr. Brandon, and Mr. Shami, who are going to explain the topic. Welcome to the talk show.
On behalf of others, I would like to thank Aston for inviting us to talk show.
Right. So before entering the main course of the topic, I would love to know your opinion on our Malaysian government recently.
As we all know, COVID-19 situation in Malaysia is getting better. The government has done a decent job at containing the COVID-19 outbreak in the country through vaccination. As a result, almost 100% of the cases are on category 1 and 2, which show little to mild symptoms even when contact the disease due to the being fully vaccinated with up to 3 booster doses. In response to that, the government has taken a more relaxed standard operating procedures (SOP) to slowly stabilize the economy. This shows us that our government is taking the pandemic seriously and is strategic about the approach against it.
In addition to the point, Malaysian government has also reopened its borders to the international tourists on 1st April this year, as I know, which allows all fully vaccinated travelers and certain other groups of travelers to enter the country without quarantine. Through this reopening of the country border, it shows that the national move to transition into the endemic phase. By doing that, we can gain back our economic, which had broke down during the pandemic years. Not only that, the government had also helped the B40 family and students, which providing better salary or income incremental process, and many other efforts is done by the government.
Nice. Seems our government had helped done many things this day. Okay, back to our topic. Can you bring me through the meaning of purpose of youth thought of youth are the pillar of the Malaysian government?
Yes, first of all in Malaysia, as we all need to know is that the age for youth is defined in Malaysia as those between 15 and 40 years old. But the main focus of youth in the country are for those aged between 18 to 25. The youth in any society are the engine of growth and development because they provide the most labor force for production of goods and service to take effect on our economic and political status. This group also are the critical masses of people whose action and inaction can develop or destroy the fabrics of their society. By this in politics, youth play a main role in participating and choosing or designing the Malaysian government for a better future.
In addition, also, we get to see more youth doing social activities like volunteering some of the donations during the pandemic, natural disaster, and many more. Not only volunteering in the government defense sector and health sector, which like firefighter, police, army, medical, and many other departments are taken by the youth to keep the country in a good hands.
So you are saying that youth are the pillar here in our government? Then can I know what type of part taken by the youth on doing so for the Malaysian government?
Right. As I remember, I had read an article on the Star. The government had lowered the age of voting to maximum of 18 years old on 2019 due to high number of populations. Not only that, our youth had also participated in politics, like the well-known person, which is Syed Saddiq bin Syed Abdul Rahman, who was a politician on the age of 35 years old.
Moreover, during the COVID pandemic, most university students volunteer themselves, like students from universities of UITM, UMP, UNICEL, UKM, UTHM, and many other young volunteers had been a Malaysia support volunteers, MyVac. Furthermore, they also have provided health care, food, clothes, and digital devices for online classes to students during and after the pandemic.
To cover up our talk for today, I would like to know some of your opinion or citation on our future Malaysian government.
Based on our current situation, we hope that the youth will keep on their good effort on keeping Malaysia in progress or on track leading to a better country, where we ask that the youth continue developing a better politics, economy, and country on the future. Finally, I would like to thank Ashton for providing us this great opportunity.
And that is all for today. Thank you for watching our talk show. I am Ashton Lakamusa, and this is Young and Proud Malaysian Talk Show.